Alright, seems like we are live. So, today we continue what we started. We are writing a Sprite Editor for the terminal in Golang. What does that mean? It means that we are going to do everything in Go, everything in the terminal, and make sprites. Where did we leave off? We were playing with the cursor, and from that it didn't go too well. So we're going to take a step back. We're going to stop worrying about the cursor altogether and go back to where we were right before that. All right. So now we have a canvas. We have a mini UI on the top right corner showing our coordinates. And if we press F, nothing happens. Oh no, wrong screen. And if we press F, we have our color grid, which is pretty nice. We still have some leftovers. Yes, that was the one. And that was the one. Let's try again. All right. So now we have a cursor, we can move. The issue is that indeed, the cursor hides the color until it blinks. So there is a simple solution for that. Basically, instead of displaying one space, we can display two. And that should solve the issue. All right, so now it's a bit bigger. Something to notice is that the cursor goes back all the way at the end, and we want it to be at the beginning. So, in our print grid, we're going to do that. We go back at the beginning. If we do F, now we stay at the beginning. Awesome. Now, we want to be able to select one of those colors. So for that, it means that we are going to need some kind of settings, because we want to be able to see, is it going to be foreground or background? Let's keep track of that. We're going to have settings, which itself, we could create a struct, but might as well just do it right here. So we are setting foreground and settings, just say, for the background. So that is just going to store the color that we want for the foreground and for the background. So the first step is going to be for the background, because we don't deal with foreground just yet. And with our color grid, basically when I press space, I want to set and to toggle that value. So let's go back to where we are. We press F. Okay, so like the first step is going to detect basically which color the cursor is currently in. That should not be too difficult. So we have 2 keys per color. We have 16 colors per line. So from the cursor, we should be able to easily infer the color. So let's take a look. What we're going to do, just to make it easy and clear, we're going to display the color that we selected right next to the cursor position. So that is our mini UI. And we just want to basically have another one. All right. We actually need to move the cursor again, except that instead of being 0, it is going to be 1. And here we probably don't need all that. We're going to say basically FG and then the color into space, then a reset. So the color that we display is going to be /033 open bracket, which is CSI. Then, because we want to display, is going to be a background always. So 48.5, and then our color M. Then we put two space, and then we reset. So 033 and 033 open bracket 0M. So that resets. Of course, we want to pass our setting foreground. We said we start with the background. Let's just do both at the same time. BG 5 setting background. All right. Of course, we need to move the cursor one line, so that's going to be 2. Okay. So now we have FG and BG. Looks like, yes, I forgot that the terminal it's actually indexed by 1 and not by 0. So this is the 0, this is 1, 2, and 3. All right. And of course, now it's not 9. It is going to be FG column space space space. So 6. All right. And if we actually start with some settings, let's say 1 and background 2. All right. How cool is that? So now we have a way to display which setting we select. Now, when we press F, I want to be able to press space, and instead of basically erasing everything, I won't be able to set that setting. So this is where we want to introduce the concept of modes. Similar to Vim, where we have an edit mode, visual mode, and whatever. Here, by default, we are going to be on the canvas. Then when we press F, we're going to enter like a color picker mode for the foreground, and the same when we press B, we're going to do the same thing for the background. And we want to have a different behavior from maybe even the cursor and especially the space. So because everything we did so far was really focused on the canvas, let's wrap that into the canvas mode. So we're going to say edit mode, or just mode. Edit mode, maybe a bit more clear. And that is going to start in 0. And we're going to say that 0 is going to be the canvas, 1 is going to be foreground, and 2 is going to be background. Of course, we need to set that. We're going to say like edit mode. Wondering if we could create an enum for that, but that's maybe for later. All right. Next. We have our edit mode, and everything we did so far is for that mode. So the UI is going to be there probably regardless of the mode, although like that is deletable. And the behavior for the cursor, for the space, and for F, that is definitely only for the edit mode. So if we say if edit mode equal at 0, then we do all that. Actually, even the Q, that is really just for edit mode. So let's do that. And when we press F, we print the color grid, but we also set the edit mode to 1. And if we say B, it's going to be for background, we say going for 2. Now, if we are in c.edit_mode equal at 1 or c.edit_mode equal at 2. So here is our foreground or background. When we press Q, we don't exit. We actually go back to the edit mode 0, which is the canvas. So here we're going to basically like print canvas. And this is where we start to have an issue. So we're going to table this for now and just see if we can go from one mode to another. So to make that even easier, we're going to actually display in our UI which mode are we in. So this time is going to be 4, line 4, and it's going to be mode. We don't really want a color, we don't care about that. And we are going to have the mode, edit mode. And so that is going to be just one character for the number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, so 7. All right. So now we can press F, we can press B. B does not work, but that is expected because we are not in the canvas mode. So if we press Q, now we are back, and we can press B. All right. And pressing Q twice, of course, clears that. Next, we're going to deal with the cursor. That starts to be a bit messy, so we will have to clean that up very soon. So in our cursor, it is not going to be +1, it's going to be minus equal 2. Same thing here, plus equal 2, plus equal 2, and minus equal 2. Because we put, remember, 2 space for the colors, but we actually did that only on the X side. So in the Y, we are still just in 1, plus plus, minus minus. And in our case, we actually have a well-defined boundary. So we can say if C of pose Y is less than 15, I think it was 14 because we set out 0. As long as we're less than 14, we can go up. And as long as C of pose X is less than 15 for that side, we can press equal to. Let's try. Oops, what's going on? Let's make that a bit bigger so we can see everything. F. So now I do right. Not really what I would expect. I was hoping that to do by 2. But I forgot that there's a difference between our cursor tracking and the actual cursor. So. In this case, because we wanted to do it twice, it is going to be twice. And same thing here. And here we want it only once. Let's try again. All right. Now we jump 2 by 2. And we have an issue with our boundary, because of course now this is going to be 32. Let's see again. F. Left, right. Can we go all the way to the end? We are at the end. Can we go above? We can. So we are 1 too many. So it's going to be inferior to 30. And we are missing one. All right. If we go to the right all the way, we can go further. We go to the bottom. All right. Sounds good. Now, when we press space, we want to update the value. All right, so how do we detect space? We do it like this. So if we have a space, then if the C of edit mode equal to 1, then we are going to be setting foreground equal at something, else it is going to be the background, because we already have that check here, so if it's not 1, it is necessarily 2. And this is going to be the background. So we don't actually need to display anything, we can just update this. Alright. That is pretty cool. Now we go in background mode, press space. Okay. So that is pretty much what we expect. Now, how do we actually get the color? So we know that the color is basically a 16 by 16 grid with 1 repeat on the x-axis. So in order to know that, we know that it is going to be let me think. It is going to be pos x divided by 2. So that is going to be our x. Let's start that for now. So if we do space is black, if we do space here it should be red. Alright, so that works pretty well, but now we want to have the other axis too. So it is going to be c.pos y times 16 plus that. So let's see, f. So the first line is still working as expected. And if we go here, right, that should be black. There should be some bright red. Excuse me. Awesome. And if we go all the way to the end, it should be white. Awesome. So we're going to do the same thing here, because the only difference between mode 1 and 2 is which setting do we actually update. And now we can go back to print canvas. So how do we go back to our canvas? So if we sum up, what do we have to do right now? We can move around and we can draw in a canvas. However, it is really just drawn. We don't have any kind of state. We don't know where it has been run. So as soon as we come back, it is completely lost. So we need to fix that. In order to fix that, we're going to introduce a state. And the state is going to be a two-dimensional array for x and y. And each element, but each pixel, can have a foreground, a background. Eventually, we're going to also add the ability to put a character. Maybe underline, maybe blink, quite a few things actually. So let's make it an array. So for now we're going to have 3, basically which character it is, foreground and background, and later on we can increase that, and if we need we can always make it a struct, or maybe even some optimization with bit mask, but for now let's just make it an array. It should be simple enough. But because we have an array, we need to initialize that. So we're going to create a new canvas function. And we're going to put a new canvas, create canvas. and nothing too fancy. Editor is going to return a canvas, of course. We have canvas. We also, of course, need to have a size to know which one is going to be. So we're probably going to want to track that. So we're going to have like width and height. And here we say initial width, initial height. That are like this. Alright, so we have our widths, initial width, height, initial height. Edit mode, we said we start in 0. Settings, we can start both as 0. We can change it there, and the state is going to be, so we need to make that like this. And what is going to be the size? The size is going to be the initial height. So that way, like each element is going to contain a line. So then we can go branch of C of state. So for each element, which is a height, we're going to instantiate to allocate, I mean, the width. So it is going to be C of state of I, grab make of this, and that is going to be the initial width. So we don't even need the line here. We just need that. Alright, and of course we return our C, which is our canvas. So now we can get rid of this guy. I've also forgot well. Ah, come on. Let's try again. Okay, so now it did work this time. Alright. I still like to have things a bit like this. Alright. Then C is our new canvas. And width, I think we put 120 earlier. And height, well, we could get it from the actual terminal, but let's say 20 for now. Let's make sure that everything is still running. Alright, everything looks good. So the next step is that while we're in canvas mode, when we press space, we just want to toggle on and off the pixel. So that is great for the visual one. Now we also want to save it. So it's going to be C of state. The first element, in the first dimension, I mean, is going to be of the Y, and then the X. And so the first element is going to be the character, because right now it is going to be just spaces. We're going to say 1 for there is something, 0 there is nothing. We're going to add the actual characters a bit later. And of course we need to keep track of the color of those dots. So let me keep that here. 1 and 2. The color is going to be our setting foreground for the first one and setting background for this guy. Let's just make sure that nothing is broken. Alright. Just to make it a bit easier, we're going to say, let's look at the grid. Let's pick some sane default. Say that by default the background should be white, so that is 15 or 255. Let's just go with 15. And the foreground would be black. Alright. Oops. So foreground can say add 0 and 15. Alright. And of course, when we actually display, now we actually want to display the color. What is going to be our color? Print grid, print color grid. So that is how we display a color. And the I, that is for the background. Setting foreground, CF setting background. Okay, so we can get rid of that. And 03338.5, which is the foreground, /dm. So we set both foreground and background. Let's see. So now if I press space, it should just be white. However, I should not do it twice. And why not? But why? Also, we should be able to clear. Let me think. Yes, because I copy pasted with 2 space and we want only 1 space. Alright, so now we go in BG mode, and let's say instead of being white, it is going to be... Uh-oh, something is wrong. Not so sure what I did right there. Let's say orange. Now we go back to the canvas, and when we press space, everything is orange. So that works. Pretty good. Now we want a function to actually redraw our canvas, and that is going to be based on the state. So within our canvas, we're going to do we call it redraw, and when we redraw, we're going to do C of clear screen to start fresh, and from there we can go over line range of C of state for LM range C of line, and here we can do pretty much the same thing as we just did just now when we actually draw. So that will be the one. And instead of settings here, it is going to be LM of 1 and LM of 2. And what we actually print, well, we will print space. Should be good enough. So now when we press Q, we want to go back to the canvas, and that is going to be a redraw. Let's see. So we draw something. We're going to open the foreground mode. We press Q. There is some weirdness. There is some weirdness. So when we press F, everything is clear. That is good. But when we press Q, we are all over the place. Why? Excuse me. Alright, we have a cross. We go F, we go back. And the cross is completely messed up. That will explain it. And when we redraw, we want to go home. But that is definitely not the issue here. It will be because I forgot to go to the new line after each line. So Let's draw across again. We go to the foreground mode. We go back. That is a concern. Oops. All right, so what is going on? Maybe he just doesn't like to print space everywhere all the time? Nah. Okay, so instead of space, let's actually print the actual value. Oops. 0. Alright, whatever else I'm saying, FQ. Interesting. Let's reduce the size a little bit. Because 120 was for the UI, let's use 100 for this. So we can say a small square, we go in foreground mode, we come back. That is annoying. Oops. Why is the foreground not 0? Let's write it in red, maybe. So when we redraw, we actually lose the color, which is a bit strange. And I'll be honest, it is a bit strange. Let's do it here. Because I forgot that guy. That would explain it. Let's try again. Oops. All right, that is better. So now we go back to our lm of 1 and lm of 2. Let's try again. FQ. Okay. FQ. Ah. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Interesting. I suspect that all the ones are going to be consecutive. And they are. Alright. So we should definitely do that before, because we updated the cursor. So let's try again. FQ. That is a little bit frustrating, I have to say. Come on. Well, that actually should not matter, because when we press space, we don't move the cursor. Sorry, that does, yeah, I'm not sure what I was thinking here. That does not matter. However, when we do press space, the cursor moves, and that is the issue. FQ. All right. So now we are good. Finally. So now we can get rid of the actual numbers. In our read row. Yep. Yeah. Let's just do a space for now. Okay. Let's go to background, let's pick something else. And that is still working as well. Awesome. So that is actually a fairly decent state and gap. We can set a color for a pixel. Next, we want to allow for cars in pixel. So first, I'm going to do a git init, git status, and we're going to basically add everything. Initial commit. Terminal exploration, basic canvas, foreground, background support, colors only. So we don't really have it is not much, but at least it is something, and we can refer to it later. Next is allow for a character. So for that, we're going to add yet another mode, which is going to be the insert mode. And that is going to be through I, like in Vim. So we can say if n equal to 1 and buff 0 equal to I, then edit mode equal to 3. It's actually going to be quite difficult to follow quite quickly if we don't create a small enum. So that is going to be type edit mode enum type. Then we have a const block which is going to be the edit mode enum values, edit mode canvas, edit mode, grad 0. Let's be explicit. I'm not going to bother about the iota. For the FG foreground grid, background grid, insert. So group 1, 2. All right, edit mode is edit mode. Let's be explicit. We don't start at 0 anymore, we start at edit mode canvas. And when we press this, that is going to be edit mode foreground. Edit mode background. Oops. And edit mode insert. And of course, when we press this, it's going to be edit mode canvas. Let's extract that out, and you can say if edit mode is not canvas, when we press Q, we go back to the canvas. Then now one is going to be foreground, background, and I think we had one more. Yep, foreground. Awesome. That is a bit better. And we can actually commit that. What we do, we introduced a canvas. Create enum for edit modes. Okay. Now, what happens when we are in insert mode? So let's see. If I press I, we are in insert mode, mode number 3. And if I press Q, I come back, and Q again, I exit. So when we are in edit mode, actually we don't really want Q. Instead of Q, can we do escape? Let's see. We're going to keep Q just because. But we're going to also do like a /3, which is escape. F, press escape. All right, so it does work. So in order to go back to the canvas mode, it is going to be /033 and not Q. Why is that? Because in insert mode, we want to be able to press Q and have the Q to be displayed. All right, so let's do it. So if our edit mode is insert, then our state of C pos Y, C pos X of 0, which is where we're going to store the character, is equal to buff of 0. Buff 0 being the actual character. And of course, we want to do that only if n equal to 1. Because if we have like a control character, like or up or something like this, we definitely don't want to insert like parts of the buffer into the value. and we can create ints. So now I have a small doubts, but this should be good enough for ASCII anyway. Let's see. We should also probably print it. We should definitely print it. With the proper controls. So let's take a look at redraw. How did we do that? All right, so we print it. And what do we print? Well, we print the value itself. So here it's not LMs, it is setting foreground, setting background. And the value. So above 0. Okay. And we also want to save the values. So that is going to be the setting foreground and setting background. And because we printed something, the cursor moved. So let's see. We are in insert mode. Something is wrong. If I press I, it does go to the mode 3. But indeed, like here we should go back to the loop because we want to do that the next time. So escape, Q, I, and now we can say hello. Except when we press enter, nothing happens. And not really sure what just happened right here. Oh, that is interesting. Remember, we have the escape, but also missed an equal one. So just again to make sure we were here, and I'm not going to press escape, I'm going to press left. And because the first character in the left sequence is escape, it's confused. So making sure that we have this, let's make sure again, we go foreground, left, right. So that works as expected. There's no nothing anymore. And we go and we leave. So now we go back to our redraw, and now instead of space, we can put lm of 0. So let's see, is space still going to work? F escape? Nope. That is a bit concerning. Why is space not working anymore? Because we didn't put anything in our states. That is the wrong mode. We really need to clean up. It starts to be really messy. So it's not one, it's going to be space. F escape. F escape. Come on. That will be Y. F escape. Alright. Now we go in insert mode. Hello. That is a bit annoying. It should have worked. So where is our insert mode? Forgot this one, so that is going to be the canvas. When we are in insert mode, that is what we expect. We actually display just like it should. But when we come back, the reader loses it. Does that make sense? Ah, shoot. Maybe something wrong with the redraw. Ah, come on. Was it an issue of size? No. It was an issue of size. It was drawn outside of the canvas. Alright. So, now we can actually type. That is pretty nice. It would be good also if we, even if we're in insert mode, if we could move around. So in order to do that, we're just going to copy paste that whole thing. Oop. Right. Oops. So now we are in insert mode, we can still move, and I can still type. It's a bit strange to type though. Alright. Pretty happy about this. Let's go back to our goals. We can indeed set a character into a pixel. Let's test the foreground color that we actually never tried before. At least as a setting. So we're going to... Uh-oh. Let's reset everything. Let's see. Alright. So we do have an issue with the cursor and the mods. I think the mods work. It works fine as long as yes, it works fine as long as we are in 0, 0. So we just need to recenter. print color. Yes, because we are based on that. That would explain. So as soon as we enter one of those modes, we do want to reset. Clear screen. So that way the cursor also resets. Okay, so now let's try again. We move somewhere. We go in the foreground mode. We are back at 0, 0. So let's put the foreground as that kind of bluish. Yep. Set the background in that violet, maybe a bit too close. Is that yellow? Yes, that should be nice and fancy. And now we can type, hello, that is awesome. Escape, F, that is awesome. It works just as we expect. All right, so what did we do? Git commit, add insert mode to support car inputs. So that always displays something even if there's nothing. Yes, we move the redraw, the clear to reset the cursor. We missed an enum here. So instead of just being 1 or 0, now we just put a space. What do we have here? So that is actually the main logic. This is our insert mode. All right. Okay. Next is to be able to save and load the work. That's actually will be quite useful because right now each time we start from scratch. So what we're going to do, we're going to add one more key binding. We're going to do that in canvas mode. And when we press if n equal at 1 and buff of 0 equal at s for save, we're going to basically save to file. I think the easiest way would just be to pass the file name as a parameter, so that way we don't need to worry about the text box or anything like this. But first, let's take a look and let's think. I think we can just dump the Marshall, like the whole thing. Might actually not need everything. Actually, no. Let's only dump the state, because the rest, like, we don't really care all that much. All right. So that would be binary. We have encoding binary. What do we have here? Do we have something like Marshall? Why not? So that is going to be our file that we don't have yet. I'm going to say that we are in Little Indian, because why not? And the data is going to be C of state. And then can we unmarshal it? And we read that goes to the data. All right. All right, let's see if that's going to work. fr is going to be os dot open file. That is going to be, let's hard code it for now, like sprite dot sprt. Why not? What are going to be our flags? It's going to be os.o underscore create if it does not exist, is.o underscore truncate. Because here we save, so like if it exists, we just truncate it. How we know we don't happen? We don't read, it is going to be a write only. All right. And the perm, we can put 600, so that way it says hours and hours only. If that failed, that would be bad. So we basically just leave fmt.errorf errorf open file. If it's worked, then we do a write. If that failed though, we exit out as well. Binary write. And of course, as a best effort, we're going to make sure that f.close. And then we can close. Here's that nil, return empty.rf, close file. Okay. Data any. Did I miss something? Why? Let's try anyway. Okay. So he wants a fixed size. You know what? It is really inefficient, but we can just encode it to JSON. Because why not? So what we're going to do like JSON, we'll just create just data encoded data. JSON.marshal. What does it marshal? Anything. So that is going to be our state. If that failed, we can say JSON marshal. And once we have this, we're just going to write it to file. So we don't have to worry about anything else. Write file. Sprite.sprt. The data is going to be our encoded data. And the param is going to be 00600. And if that failed, of course, we leave. fmt.errorf, write file. Alright, so we can get rid of that, we can get rid of that. We don't need to do that anymore. Okay. Oops, what's going on? What is going on? I pasted at the wrong place. What happened? Go mode. All right, let's try. We save. And it's empty. Why is it empty? because I cannot type Sprite.sprt. rm spy. Okay, let's try again. We save, we quit, we cut. All right. As I mentioned, highly inefficient, but that will do the trick. Okay, now that we have this, when we start, instead of starting with an empty state, actually, let's always start with empty state, but if we press O, and later on, if we have an argument, let's just do R for now. Then we're going to unmarshal. So we say read file, sprite.sprt, and then encoded data. So that is pretty much the reverse of what we have below. Read file. Then we can do C of state equal at nil. We basically reset everything. And then we do if error JSON unmarshal, the data is the encoded data, and the target is our c.state. If that fail, of course, we leave. JSON unmarshal. Let's try. So we do have that thing, and we can do our go run, and this time we're going to do something, whatever. And we are going to press O, and that didn't do anything, because we probably want to redraw as well. And go back to the loop. Oh, nice! So we do stuff, we press O again, it resets. And now if we do a big line, now it's the same, we save it, and we press O again, awesome. So now we can save and load our work. Add support for save load to file. And that will be good for the session. Thank you for watching.